MLS Week 12 is here, right around the corner. That's going to be tomorrow. It is a special Friday night edition of the Designated Pundits. Let's get into it. Was that my brain stuttering or my computer? The world may never know. MLS Week 12 is here. We have some great bets to go over. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Yeah, doing good. Nice Friday, end of the week. Looking forward to the weekend. Nice slate of games.
Yeah, if you are watching live, if you're catching this, make sure you drop some comments. If you catch us live on our normal Monday or Thursday live streams, we can bring those right up on screen. So if you have any picks as we're going along, shout them out and we'll throw them up there. And while you're at it, make sure you subscribe. You can find us on YouTube, your favorite podcast platform, now in Spotify with video. So make sure you subscribe. Yeah, that's going to help us bring you videos like this each and every week. Let's get into some bets, because that is what we were here for. Week 12 Major League Soccer. Just a brief recap of what we did last week. Mixed bag here. We had Scott with a perfect 3-0 week, Deon with a perfect 0-4 week. But the good thing is, Alex was there to bring us up with a plus 225 bet on Crew and both teams to score. That means we went 8-8 on 16 wagers, up 0.92 units on the Major League Soccer week. And through 11 now, we are 96 and 93 on 189 wagers, plus 10.28 units. Myself leading the way. Scott back in the positive for one of the first times in a long time, having an excellent run of form here. And if you look, we're not doing it by being up 10, 15, 20 bets. We have these plus money plays that we're bringing to you. You know, a minus 120, minus 140 on a team to win is great, but if we can pump that into the plus, then we don't need to worry about losing those bets and still being in the positive. Let's start out with Chicago Fire hosting Atlanta United. Chicago Fire up and down, Atlanta United down and down, just can't find a way to score, can't find a way to put it together. Chicago Fire 3-4-4, Atlanta United 2 wins, 4 draws, and 5 losses. This is the 2:30 matinee game at Soldier Field. Let's taking a look at our odds here. You got Chicago plus 110 to win, Atlanta United plus 200. Over under 2.5 goals at minus 198 to the over and plus 160 to the under. And we got some team totals here right around even. Minus 136 to the over for Chicago, plus 106 to the under. In Atlanta, plus 114 to the over, minus 146 to the under. So the sportsbooks see this as being a pretty close game with a slight edge, home advantage. Our official play here is Scott, so I'm going to throw over to you.
All right. Yes, I do have an official play. And basically what I'm looking at are these two teams who have pretty leaky defenses. Chicago is conceding 2 goals a game. Atlanta is conceding nearly 2 goals a game. The offenses, not super great. Atlanta just barely over, a shade over 1 goal a game. Chicago scores about 1.5 goals a game. Chicago, this is a funny game. Chicago has yet to win a game at home. Atlanta has yet to win a game on the road. Opportunity knocks for somebody, I guess. I'm not necessarily saying, yeah, we're definitely going to have a winner here, but I think Chicago's got a bit of an edge. They just statistically, in terms of their goals scored, in terms of their goals conceded, they just have a little bit of an edge there. And I think, too, they're just a team with a little bit more of a plan in their projects, just maybe a little more together than Atlanta is right now. So I'm taking Chicago on a double chance. I agree, Vasa, they might tie. So I'm taking that double chance. And I'm taking an over of over 2.5. That puts me at minus 120.
I'm okay with that. I have a slight edge to Chicago also. However, the plus 110 to win outright really isn't doing it for me, and I'd have to stretch this too much. I'd have, over plus this plus that to get to a plus number. Minus 120 on Chicago, double chance over 2.5. So we're looking for goals, and I think that that's exactly what we're going to see in this one. I think that it's going to be a little bit of a slop fest, and I'm okay with that. I do want to see goals.
I can't promise that I'm going to be heavily invested in watching this game. I can't promise it's going to be a good watch. Deon's over here dying. But I think there's opportunity. I think there's opportunity for Chicago, and I agree, Bob. I think it's going to be a bit sloppy. I think there's opportunity for Atlanta to finally get a little bit of offense going. And I think Chicago's looking to finally break that goose egg at home.
Scott with one official play. Chicago double chance over 2.5 at minus 120. He's doing the Ron Pompeo, set it and forget it. Not going to check in. Deon, you'll be watching this match, though.
I'm playing on it, and I hope that it's Atlanta that comes out on top. But I think, Scott, I actually really like your play now, sitting and actually looking at the numbers again. Atlanta's allowing in their last 5 matches 2.5 goals. They're allowing that, and I just think Atlanta need a lot to overcome. And I know that neither team have won away or home, but Chicago definitely looks, to me, I would lean towards Chicago.
Could also find a play on like both teams to score in over 2.5. I'd like that a lot. I have both teams to score at just under 60% probability of happening. So let's move it along here. And we're going to talk about a game that actually matters. Minnesota United, 5 wins, 4 draws, 2 losses. Inter Miami, 6-3-1. This is a 4:30 match at Allianz Field this Saturday. When you look at the betting lines, Minnesota, plus 120 home favorites. Miami, plus 190, and the draw is at plus 240. Over under 2.5 goals, minus 128 for the over, and plus 106 to the under. I have an official play in this, and Scott, you have the same official play. So why don't you go first, and I'll fill in the gaps.
A little different official play, I think, if our spreadsheet is correct. So I'm looking at this one, and I think, to nobody's surprise, I am favoring Miami. Minnesota is a good team this year, but I don't think they're a great team. I think their position in the table in the West is a little inflated, just because I think there's a lot of teams in the West who haven't really figured it out yet. And so I'm kind of fading Minnesota. I'm going to pick Miami on a double chance and over 2.5 goals. Stop me if that sounds familiar. The thing is, if you look at Minnesota's raw numbers, 15 goals scored, 10 goals allowed, it doesn't seem like their games have that many goals, but when they play decent teams, those are all 3-goal games. They have a couple of 0-0 games against the likes of Toronto and Dallas. And if you kind of take those out, suddenly this is a 3-goal game team. A lot of 2-1s in there. Miami is a team that can score goals, can score a lot of goals. And so that's what I think. The Minnesota offense isn't that bad. The defense we've seen can be a little bit that bad, can sometimes be better too. So I'm taking Miami on a double chance.
Vasso saying Minnesota money line, free money. Well, you're not going to like this because we have 2 pro Inter Miami plays. I'm not betting on a winner. I kind of found a way to kind of divorce myself from that outcome completely. I do like Inter Miami to win outright, but plus 190, plus 200, depending on when you're getting your lines. I like a bet better, and it's plus 132 for Miami to score 2 goals. Over 1.5 team total on Miami at plus 132. Miami scored 2 goals in 6 of their 10 matches this season, and 2 of their 4 away matches. That's 50% chance of occurrence. And you're getting this at plus 100 or better. So yeah, you hit that every time. Miami started the season with some malaise. They've scored 20 times in their first 10 matches, which is down 0.27 goals from their 2025 average. While it feels like it's a lot more than that. It's about, a quarter of a goal a game difference. I expect him to get back scoring, and being without Luis Suarez doesn't scare me. He flew for personal reasons, and they don't think he's going to be back in time. But he's only had 2 goals in 666 minutes this season. His sub, Fafa Pico, has scored 3 goals in 325 minutes. So I'm really just not worried about that. And I think Inter Miami getting 2 goals, okay, that's a pretty low burden for this Inter Miami team who just can't seem to keep scoring. Official plays, myself, Miami team total over 1.5 at plus 132. They can lose, just score 2. Scott is taking Miami on the double chance win or draw, and over 2.5. We see goals here. That one's going to be at plus 40. Deon, do you have any leans in this game?
So I was actually going to go with something like yours, Bob, like the total score over 1.5. But Miami's last 2 away games, they scored a goal and then no goals. So I kind of steered away from that. But with all the information you gave, it's a good pick. But I think I would lean towards what Scott picked on there. But I think Minnesota are a good team, and I couldn't find a thing that I liked in this one.
Minnesota also had a midweek game, but they had no starters start in that match. So I don't think it's too much there.
No, not even on the bench for them. Worth noting that Miami, for the first time in a while, did not have a midweek game. So they got a full week of rest. I think that's going to matter for them.
Love that. Peeking back in the chat, Vaso says you're going to regret that coming in the future. Well, when you run a sports betting show, you regret a lot of things you say. That's nothing new here, but we throw it out there and we don't delete. So it's out there now. You can come back next week and let us know how dumb we are. It's happened before. Connor says, what's up? Got distracted watching hockey. We feel you. Not my sport anymore, but that was actually my sport in high school. I was actually a hockey player for quite a long time. Moving on, FC Cincinnati, 7 wins, 1 draw, and 3 losses. They're hosting Austin FC, who's 5 wins, 5 losses, and a draw. They just can't seem to get that at 1 point. Going all in here. Saturday, 7:30, TQL Stadium. I have the official play here, so let's first check the odds. Home odds for FC Cincinnati, minus 120 to win, 270 for the draw, and plus 290 for the away win. Over under 2.5 goals is just about even. When I set these graphics up, it was minus 116 for the over, minus 106 for the under. But you can find that flip-flopping depending on what sportsbook you go to. It's just about even. They can't decide on that even 2.5 goals number. I have the only official play. Gentlemen, do we have anything to discuss with this match?
Go for it. I wanted to bet on this one, actually. I really did. Austin played a midweek game. Brandon Vasquez played big, significant minutes in that. I really wanted to pick against Austin in this one. I didn't really like Cincy straight up at minus 120, and I couldn't find something else that really worked for me.
That's about the same for me. I couldn't find anything. I think that Cincinnati will win this one, but I feel like Austin's one of those teams, like, they just are trending down, and then all of a sudden one game they're like up, and they inconsistent. Let's just say that they're just inconsistent. So I could see them either drawing Cincinnati or beating Cincinnati on the road here for some reason. So I stayed away from it.
We're talking about the other Ohio team. Connor's in the chat saying they're scared to give Columbus a home game versus Austin, taking a shot at Anthony Precourt, the owner, who took his team down to Austin, but then, Cruz stayed behind. And Vaso says, delicious Cincy money line. Well, yeah, that's the bet. That's the one. FC Cincinnati minus 120. I don't really know how this gets any easier. 4-1-0 at home with 8 goals scored, 3 conceded. They have a better squad. Guys like Evander and Kevin Denke who don't miss their shots. Matt Miazga, Cincinnati. They got a formidable defense now, and they have the 4th best home advantage. FC should win. Minus 120 is just about right. I see my prediction model puts this at like a minus 1.25% chance of happening compared to the sportsbook odds. So like you're losing just like a 1% juice on the probability of this happening. Austin FC are 2-3 on the road with wins over St. Louis and LAFC. However, they haven't scored in 180 minutes. They are playing against guys who really know how to score. If they're off to a slow start, it's not going to happen. They've scored only 3 times in 5 road matches, which pushes my projected total for this match for Austin down to 0.81 goals. That's my lowest projected total of any team out there this week.
7 goals on the season for Austin, man. And and they have 5 wins. I mean, All 1-0. If they can win 1-0, like automatic. But if you get 2 goals up on Austin, it's over.
This is a revenge game too.
With Vasquez going back.
Yeah. Is this his first? This has to be his first time.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Austin had half their starters play in a midweek game, so we'll see how that factors in. Moving ahead to Yankee Stadium, NYCFC, 5 wins, 2 draws, 4 losses. Hosts CF Montreal with an 0-3-8 record, still yet to win on the season. The betting odds have NYCFC at -140, the draw at +260, and away CF Montreal +380. They're going to be in the 600s at some point this season, the way they're currently going. Over under 2.5 goals is just about even. -108 for the over, -114 to the under. Who was silly enough to put a play? Oh, everyone except me has a play official in this match. Deon, we're going to throw over to you.
Yeah, absolutely. This one, NYCFC are playing very good at home with 4 wins and a loss, and then Montreal not even winning yet this season. So my official play was NYCFC double chance just to be safe, and under 2.5 at -105. And I went back and forth with that one, and then also NYCFC straight up and under 2.5 goals, and that was a +275. I went back and forth on it, and I went the safe route because I don't know. I just got a feeling this week we're going to see something where a bad team gets a dub or a result. And so I went the safe route in this one with the -105. But NYCFC are playing great at home. 13 goals on the season, where Montreal only have 5 on the season. And NYCFC aren't allowing goals too much there at home. So I think their last 5, they've scored 2 or under. So I went with that under 2.5 too.
Mm-hmm. I like that a lot. I have NYCFC and CF Montreal going under 2.5 goals 55.74% of the time. So I do see a very slight edge to the under 2.5 goals here. Scott?
Yeah, NYCFC 13 goals scored, 13 goals conceded on the season. Right, all games, 11 games. Look, it's 2 goals a game basically. Montreal has an inability to score. And it's not through lack of effort, but it is through lack of talent. They generate a lot of XG that they turn into no goals. One day it'll hit for them, right? Those are pros. One day they'll score goals and it'll just happen. But probably not this day. NYCFC at home is usually a good play. I really like where your head's at, Deon. Just making it safe. Something weird could happen, so you double chance it. But I think, yes, NYCFC's not been free scoring, so they're not likely to put up 5 in this game. Montreal's not likely to put up 5 in this game. The under, I think, is a good play.
Love that. 2 official plays here. NYCFC under 2.5, -105 for Scott and Deon. Let's move ahead and look at Orlando City hosting the New England Revolution. Revolution sneaky, up to 5 wins now, 5-1-4, and Orlando City 4-5-2. Luckily, we had the guys from the Revolution recap on our show a little earlier this week. You can check that out and see why New England is doing a little better now. Has to do a little backline shift, playing with a little 5-man in the back, changing some good things, but also taking some of their DPs off of the field in the process. This one's going to be interesting for me to discuss, and this is one that I did not fail to make a bet. It's one I avoided with prejudice. Orlando City -175 for the home team, draw at +320, and away odds are +400. Over 2.5 goals, -134, and under 2.5 goals at +110. Deon, you are the lone brave man here.
Yeah, I wanted to go with this one because I can't go one way or the other as in who wins, because we don't know what Orlando City team is going to show up. Is it going to be their good team, their bad team? But I do like what the Revs are doing right now, currently on a 4-match winning streak. All shutouts also, but at the same time, Orlando, all of them are shutouts too, all clean sheets. in their last 4 also. It's a very weird game, but in the last 5, except for the one game for Orlando winning 3-0, every game was under 2.5 goals. So I just went with that. I went with an under 2.5 at plus 105. Yes, the Revs aren't scoring a lot on the road. They're just scoring enough, but the Orlando's scoring 2.5 at home. And it went back and forth. Trust me, I went back and forth on it. But yeah, under 2.5 plus 105. I just like that. I think that the way that the Revs are playing right now in their defense, I don't think that we see that many goals.
Guys in the chat are staying away from this one, and I am too, and I'll tell you why. Orlando's been great at home, but they've played Atlanta to win 3-0, DC to win 4-1, and Toronto to win 4-2. They're scoring a lot of goals, but they haven't played anyone yet. Are the Revolution someone? We don't even know if this is. I mean, was it a? I have to think that they're good, but I don't know if they're ready to face Orlando. But I'm not sure if Orlando's ready to face anyone either. I have no idea. I have no bearing on this whatsoever.
That's where I'm at. The Revolution are building a solid defense, and that's something I feel like we are starting to know about the Revolution. But are the Revolution the team that can't score goals, or are they the team that scored a couple of nice goals last week? Which is true. And then Orlando is, Deon, as you said, who shows up for Orlando? Is it the team that is just offensively electric and free scoring, or is it the team that is going to put up 0? On the whole, I think the under is probably the more likely, but I think the under over is I think it's a coin flip.
And Orlando, they generate a lot of their offense from the wings. We saw Paslic play; he was just unreal. Are the Revolution with their new 3-man back line prepared to take on a team with that heavy outside influence? Getting Paslic on one side, maybe Angulo on the other. You have 10 strikers on Orlando. I don't know which one's going to start. I don't know which one's better anymore. It's just such a minefield. Deon is treading that minefield under 2.5 goals at plus 105. He's going to be the all-star if this play hits. Heading now to Houston, who is hosting the Seattle Sounders this week. Houston 2 wins, 4 draws, 5 losses. Seattle 4-4-3. Looking at the odds here, slight home advantage for Houston, plus 145. Seattle at plus 160. This may even go down to even by kickoff. The draw is at plus 250. Over under 2.5 goals, plus 106 for the over, minus 120 for the under. I have the only official play. Would anyone else like to just take a crack at this before we get going?
This one, I avoided this one with prejudice. I don't know who either of these teams are in a big way. Like Seattle, every now and then Seattle shows you something, you're like, that's a good team. And then they show you something else, you're like, that team doesn't have it figured out. Houston hasn't really shown me that they've got it figured out this year. So I just feel like I don't know anything about these teams. Deon, do you?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Scott. Kind of like Bob was saying in that last game. To me, it's a coin flip on this one. It just depends. With Seattle with their injuries, I know that they still have a couple injuries. I thought that they would not do very well last week, and here they come out and put 4 on a very good St. Louis side, defensive side, and they put 4 up against them. I'm like, okay, and that's kind of why I stayed away from this, because the week before that they drew 1-1 on the road against the Rapids. So it's a coin flip for me. So I stayed away also.
So hear me out on this one, gentlemen. We have Seattle with fresher legs. Houston had a midweek game. Seattle did not. Houston beat Phoenix Rising by 3 goals in overtime. So they didn't mean to start most of their starters. However, a lot of the starters did get seeing time, especially in that extra period. Dynamo have 8 goals and 10 conceded at home this season, which is a big part of why Seattle can come into town and get all 3 points. You saw the Mooses loose. You got Danny Musovski playing really well. Pedro de la Vega getting involved in this offense. I think in a bubble, Seattle's a better team. And with all these other things, short rest for Houston, extra minutes, It's looking like Seattle for me. When I plug this number into my sports betting model here, I have Seattle Sounders with a 44.9% chance at victory. And their implied probability of their current total at plus 160, you're getting a really good percentage of advantage on the sportsbook. I have that here as like a 6.4% advantage on what I think the winning probabilities are going to be. And anytime we do that, that's going to be a slam dunk. My official play here is Sounders draw no bet at minus 102. We still got to protect, guys. Houston, defensively, they've always been really good at home. This year, we haven't seen that as much, but they can turn it on like that. So I'm protecting myself on a draw no bet, minus 102 on the Seattle Sounders.
Houston can definitely be like a frisky team. They're still a team that works hard, even though I'm not sure where the quality in the group is a lot of the time, or what they're like going to be really good at necessarily.
They got some new players. Linger's been looking really good up top with them.
I guess just something against Houston in a way. It's going to be overcast, partly cloudy, a little bit rainy in Houston tomorrow. Game time weather is in the mid 70s. So it kind of takes away some of that Houston home advantage. Seattle's going to be a little bit more comfortable than they might have otherwise been. So yeah, maybe that works in Seattle's favor.
Only one way to find out. That's watching this game, 8:30 o'clock on Saturday. Moving now, Nashville SC, Charlotte FC. I remember when Charlotte was new in the league and Nashville like released your t-shirts that said like no FCs given, like making fun of their name. They're trying to get a little rivalry down there, and I guess they are geographic rivals. We see this one at Geodis Park at 8:30 p.m. Taking a look at the odds, home odds, minus 120 for Nashville, plus 300 for Charlotte, and plus 260 for the draw. Over under 2.5 goals, minus 140 over, plus 114 for the under. I have an official play here, and that is the only official play. Deon, why don't you let us know? Because these are like kind of geographic rivals in Atlanta, too. They're trying to get frisky down there, trying to start a little thing.
So I'm excited for this match. I think this is going to be probably the best match of the weekend, maybe. I am doing a watch-along for this one. Just a little plug there. Sorry about that. But no, both teams, I mean, Nashville recently have looked really good, where Charlotte, last two games they have lost, but they lost against the Revs at home. Revs given their first loss at home of the season. And then they did play Columbus. And Columbus is one of the best teams in the league, in my opinion. But yeah, I think that this is going to be a scrappy one. I don't see this one being a high-scoring one because both teams, Nashville's not allowing a lot of goals there at home. They're only averaging giving up 0.8. Charlotte's not scoring on the road. So, like, if I had to lean one team or another, I think Nashville could get it done there at Geodis Park if they play their cards right.
That is what I am banking on for my official play here. And let me just talk you through it here. These are two teams that have been defensive in the past. You're seeing higher totals this year, but that's not really the way I think that they really want to play. My MLS model predicts that 45.6% of the time, both teams will not score. That current bet is at plus 126, so we're getting a really good advantage on the number the sportsbook's given us. My official play here is both teams to score no at plus 126. Now, they're seeing about 2.9 goals per game combined if you add up all their goals and divide it by the number of games, 22 for both teams. However, Nashville's 7-2 win over Chicago, Charlotte's 4-2 loss to Crew are skewing those number a little bit. Without those, you're only getting 2.45 goals per game. Could this be the one that gets maybe like a 2-0 result? I really think so. In fact, these two teams have seen one team not score in 13 of their 22 matches. So 59% of the time that Nashville or Charlotte is on the field, both teams are not scoring. I don't want to pick a winner. I don't know which team's not going to score. I wouldn't be shocked if Charlotte shut Nashville out. I wouldn't be shocked if Nashville shut Charlotte out. So I feel like I'm kind of getting like both hands of the same bet with both teams to score no. That is at plus 126.
This game is either going to be the most entertaining game of the weekend or the least entertaining game of the weekend. I'm not sure it can be anything in between.
I agree. I do agree with that.
I think it's gonna be wild. And Bob, I don't think it being the most entertaining game in the weekend necessarily means your play won't hit. There's something about these teams. I could not pick anything out of this. Charlotte's offense, though, if you're picking a team that's not going to score, I think Charlotte. That group early in the season, I thought they were gonna be cooking with, but they aren't. They really aren't. Zaha has not really.
I mean, he's barely settled in.
Exactly, though. He's barely settled in for a guy with his pedigree and his experience and stuff like that. He's barely getting settled. He doesn't look super comfortable. He's not really as impactful. He's not making the impact that they wanted him to make as quickly as they wanted him to make it. And I know coming to MLS is hard and stuff like that. It's just not happening yet. So I think Charlotte is probably the team to get shut out in this.
Also, a side note, Pep Biel, one of the best players for Charlotte, is still questionable. He was training the last 2 days with the team, so as long as he passes some pregame tests, he should be good to go. Is it for 90? It might be. Both teams had midweek game where they started a couple starters, but there's not a whole lot of endurance issues here that we're too worried about. Let's move on now to a game where Deon is the only official play. St. Louis City hosts San Diego FC. St. Louis City 2-4-5. San Diego FC 5-2-4. This game is 8:30 at Energizer Park. Taking a look at the odds here. St. Louis City plus 140 to win. San Diego plus 155. This is another one of those matches that might be just about even money either way you want it by the time the game kicks off. The draw is at plus 280, a little further odds than we've seen today. Over 2.5 goals, minus 148 to the over. Under 2.5 goals is sitting at plus 122. Deon, what is your play here?
All right. Just hear me out on this, okay? I know that St. Louis is coming off of a 4-1 loss last weekend, and San Diego off of a 5-0 victory. My official play in this one is under 2.5. I think both of those matches were out of the blue because St. Louis at home, they are only allowing 0.6 goals. San Diego is only scoring about 1.6. But they're almost allowing 2 on the road. I think I didn't pick a team to win in this one. I went with the under 2.5 at plus 115. I could see this game ending in a 1-0 victory for either side or a 1-1 draw. I just don't see a lot of goals in this one.
Another way you could play this, if you don't want to go with these straight under on 2.5, if you think a team might get a little frisky, both teams to score no is sitting at plus 148. So you can get another 30 cents if you think either one of these teams is going to be shut out. Could it be St. Louis's offense? Well, yeah, it could be. Could it be San Diego? I mean, St. Louis has shown that they're really good defensive. If this game is 0-0 in the 80th minute, I could see St. Louis actually sitting back and just kind of playing for the 1 point. They are in miserable shape. I like that play, but this is another one that if we went back here and talked about this next week, if there was a 5-2 result, that wouldn't shock me either. But this is a likely 0-0 candidate as well.
Roman Berkey is questionable, but projected to be back in goal for St. Louis City. So that'll probably help the defense out. In a lot of ways, I think that St. Louis City is sort of the dominant trend team in this matchup, right? They don't score a lot of goals. They don't necessarily concede a lot of goals. I think that ability that's inherent to St. Louis is stronger than San Diego's inherent abilities.
Got some comments here. Abner saying San Diego money line. Angus saying Ben Luntz is very good. He is.
Yeah, no,
Berkey's
no
next level good. What I would be more happy about is Wallum getting back. They were playing with that 5-man back line. Wallum and Totland were both out. Now that it looks like we're gonna have
back,
Wallum back and Watts. You still have Totland out, but that's going to help the St. Louis team. I mean, a goalie and 2 wing backs being missing for a long time is not a recipe for success. So hopefully they can turn it around here.
I also like their pickup of Silva from Atlanta. I think that he can help them in the attack too. So we'll see if he gets in this week. And I believe he played in the midweek match for them, but I can't wait to see how he fits in there.
I love San Diego, and this to me, when I saw that, I was predicting St. Louis as a winner, I'm like, ugh, how could that be? And it's just a home away splits thing. Sometimes even a really good team on the road can't put it together and gets taken out by a much less team. And I agree with Angus here. Silva looked good, very good on Tuesday. Moving on now, Colorado Rapids 4-4-3, San Jose Earthquakes 4-1-6. This is, I think, the lone 9:30 game for this week. You have home odds -120 for the Rapids, +270 for the Earthquakes. And, we kind of know which way the over-under is going to go. Over 2.5 goals, -220. They are not giving that money up. Colorado Rapids, over under 1.5 goals, -178 to the over. So everyone is on the Colorado Rapids, scoring a whole bunch of goals in this one. I agree with a whole bunch of goals. Me and Deon have official play with a bunch of goals, but it might not be the play you think.
You want me to go on this one first?
Please do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I went completely really not a winner or loser outcome on this one, and it was just one team related. I think that the Earthquakes, they've looked really good. They score goals. They're averaging 1.25 on the road, and Colorado's allowing 1.8 there at home so far this season. So I went with an odd one. I went with the Earthquakes team total to be over 1.5 at +132. They like scoring, but I can see this game easily being a 3-2, 3-3 game because both teams like to score and both teams give up a lot of goals.
I agree. Some in the chat saying I didn't know Colorado's record is the formation they play with the 4-3-3. Well, 4-2-3-1. Well, yeah, okay, I'll see that.
Buy it, Connor. I like it.
I agree with San Jose. And I think they're going to score a lot of goals. I have in my projection model that away team total over 1.5 goals is 51.62%. So we're over half the time, and we're getting plus money. There you go. That says enough. I have about this is a very specific number, so it's not about. I have an exact 8.52 advantage on sportsbook if you're taking the over on San Jose here at a goal and a half. Goal and a half is not a huge jump that we need to be making, and it's one that Colorado is giving up this year. So 2 official plays here. They are the same official play. Me and Deon with Quakes team total over 1.5 at +132. They don't have to win. It could be, we look at the over 2.5 and it's so high. The total, the implied total is so high. 5 goals, 4 goals. Why can't San Jose just get 2 of them? I'd love that enough. Espinoza putting together a little run here. If he can put it one more game, he gets a thumbs up for me next weekend.
And I believe that they are their front 3 is the top scoring front 3 in the league with Martinez, Arango, and Espinoza right now. So they score goals.
Who would ever let Arango go? I mean, that's just what a talented player. It's just like a golfing. Oh, sorry. Last one here. Whitecaps. 8 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. LAFC 5-2-4. This game is Sunday, 7:00. The only Sunday game. Apple's not giving us what we want. We're not getting these prime time matches. However, this is about as good a game as you could expect to play. 7:00. What is it, 4:00 in the afternoon out there in Vancouver? Home odds here have Vancouver as -105 favorites with LAFC at +240 if you want them to win. Over under 2.5 goals, -136 for the over, +110 to the under. And you have some team totals. I like Vancouver is just about even. -118 for the over on a goal and a half, -108 on the under for a goal and a half. Scott, your official play. You have 2, including one we don't do very much on the show.
Yeah, I'm expanding my repertoire here. To start off with something standard, the average LAFC game sees about 3 goals in a game. The average Vancouver Whitecaps game, about the same. So I just went and hit that over 2.5 goals at -135. I'm not super concerned about it. LAFC's actually, if anything, lately they're playing a little bit better. That the offense maybe started a little slow. They're picking it back. They're picking it up a little bit. Vancouver Whitecaps, having watched them play through Miami, in midweeks and stuff like that, and lose stars, and it just doesn't matter. They are good, full stop. But so no concerns there. The other one though that I have, Denny Bouanga to have 2 or more shots on target. That's +165. And hear me out on this. Denny Bouanga had a slow start to the season, but in his last 4 games, he has 2 shots on target, 5 shots on target, 5 shots on target, 5 shots on target. So he's in a good run of form. 2 shots on target is not a tremendously high bar to clear. He doesn't have to score. It doesn't have to go in. He just has to get it on target. It's not a tremendously high bar to clear.
I like it. I'm sorry. I do have an official play. The odds didn't show up on my graphic, but it's both teams to score no draw at +129. So I'm taking a little different approach on the 2.5 goals. This is not, a shutout. 3-0, 4-0 isn't going to be covered by my play. Both teams to score no draw. If we get a 2-1, 3-1, 3-2 in any direction, this will cash at +129. I don't see this ending in a draw. LAFC and Vancouver only have 4 draws between the two of them this season in 22 matches. Someone's going to win, and I want to know who it is. I think it's going to be Vancouver. That is my side. However, LAFC is one of those teams we are just waiting for them to light it up, and I think that's coming. We talked about Bouanga, how he's getting hot, how LAFC is going to live and die by him this season. I really, really like that play that Scott has. But I'm going to take my both teams to score no draw +129. Just a better odds on the over 2.5. Over 2.5, obviously the much safer play. More variations in that one. But I'm going to get, like a 50% up pricing on that one. Deon, any thoughts?
No, I like that Bouanga play there, Scott. I like that. Just that should be an easy one to hit, in my opinion, because Bouanga, he has caught fire a little bit, and I didn't even think about looking at like player stats like that, and him having 5 shots on target in 2 of the last 3 games. That should be an easy one.
3 of the last 3, actually. It's
3 of the last 3.
Yeah, 3 of the last 3, and then game 4, if you go back, it's just the 2, which would have cashed. So
yeah,
he's gonna have a shot on target in the first 3 minutes, and then he's gonna look like Ronaldo last week on every other thing that he puts on the net. The funny thing with these two are that I believe the most of the sportsbook play it as like ruling on the field, like in the day, so you can get like a stats adjustment later on in the week and find out like there wasn't another official shot on goal, and you still lose the bet. So not a bet we take too often here, but if you want to do corners is quite a predictable way to play, although those markets aren't always up on Wednesday when I'm kind of doing the planning sheet for these matches. So got to keep an eye on that, and with those players to goal or assist, all those markets are kind of up Saturday morning when we get those. So love that play, Scott. Gentlemen, week 12 already. We are almost a quarter of the way through the season. Any final thoughts before we kick it into almost a third of the way through the season? Final thoughts before we kick it off?
No, have fun tomorrow. It's going to be good.
Yep, same here. Hope everybody has a great weekend.
Good luck to everybody.
Good luck. Let's see some green on the stat sheet, guys, and we'll be here Monday. Not really to recap it, to kind of talk very quickly about it, because we'll have some more picks on that show. Midweek MLS, it's 2 of the next 3 match days. Can't wait for that. We'll be here. Make sure you check in on the Designated Pundits.